parts made in Japan. I am the modern man. I've got the secret I've been hiding under my skin. My heart is human, my blood is boiling, my brain I am. So when you see me acting strangely,
Good morning, Georgia. Thank you for joining WFIRST-TV. Welcome to the remote Georgia First Tech Challenge State Championship. I'm one of the MCs, Crockett Clark. This is my partner, Kyle Fender.
Thanks, Crockett. We are so excited to welcome you to Ultimate Goal, presented by Qualcomm, part of the First Changer season powered by Star Wars, First Force for Change. First is a global robotics community preparing young people for the future. First engages students in grades pre-K through 12 in our suite of STEM programs. First LEGO League, First Robotics Competition, and of course, First Tech Challenge. First Tech Challenge started in 2005. We've grown to right about 6,000 teams in more than 25 countries. This continues to transformative impact of First programs, and you are part of this movement. All of you are making this program possible for the next generation of innovators at this event. So thank you so much for it.
So before we get started, please join us for the national anthem. We're going to have a blast today. I can't wait to see how everything comes together as these 39 teams have been working hard to design and build their robots for this season's challenge, Ultimate Goal. Today is where all the hard work these teams have put into designing, building, and programming their robots comes to life in thrilling competition.
And to introduce all of these amazing teams that you even see right behind us, I'm going to throw it over to the third member of our team, Bryn. The 100 Black Men of Atlanta, Inc. from Atlanta, Georgia. They qualified via the Control Award sponsored by ARM, Inc. From North Springs Charter High School in Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified via the Design Award.
Next, we have 12687, Operator Error.
From the Mayor School from Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified, being one of the top-ranked teams in the league tournament.
14116, Walker Information Overload.
From the Walker School in Marietta, Georgia, they qualified via the Think Award, and they were the third-ranked team.
14470, Cascade Robotics.
From the Merit School in Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified via the Collins Aerospace Innovator Award, and they were the first-ranked team.
14943, Weber Rambots.
From the Weber School from Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified via the Inspire Award, and they were the second-ranked team.
15156, Axolotls.
From the Merit School in Atlanta, Georgia, they were a league tournament top-ranked team.
16633, Bots in Black.
From the Merit School in Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified via the Connect Award.
17075, Wah Robotics.
From the Woodward Academy from Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified via the Motivate Award, and they were the fourth-ranked team.
18554, Martis Team B.
From the Mayor's School, from Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified as one of the league tournament top-ranked teams.
18556, Team Olaf.
From the Mayor's School in Atlanta, Georgia, they qualified as another one of the league tournament top-ranked teams.
All right, next we're going to go to the Etowah League. So first is 4100 Darbots 1.
From the Darlington Upper School in Rome, Georgia, they qualified via the Design Award, and they were part of the winning alliance.
7153, Team Bindism.
They are from Cartersville High School from Cartersville, Georgia. They qualified via the Think Award.
Team 7373, Eagle Robotics Carbon Fiber.
From Mount Perrin Christian School in Kennesaw, Georgia, they qualified via the Inspire Award, and they were part of the winning alliance.
Team 11364, Eagle Robotics Diamond Plate.
Also from Mount Perrin Christian School in Kennesaw, Georgia, they qualified via the Connect Award, and they were part of the Finalist Alliance.
All right, next we're going to go to the Gwinnett League. Our first team is Team 112, Robo Knights Team 112.
From the Pace Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, they were part of the league tournament, and they were a top-ranked team.
13245, Arcturus.
From STREM HQ in Alpharetta, Georgia, they qualified via the Think Award, and they were the first-ranked team.
Team 14682, Gears and Spears.
From Oconee County High School in Watkinsville, Georgia, they qualified via the Inspire Award and the second-ranked team.
Team 16796, Robo Dragons Red.
From the Gwinnett School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology, they qualified via the Connect Award.
All right, the next league we're going to do is the South Georgia region. Our first team is Team 12995, Team Sash.
From Monkey Wrench Robotics from Peachtree City, Georgia, they qualified via the Inspire Award and the first-ranked team.
The next team is 14393, Packer Robotics.
From Colquitt County Senior High School in Norman Park, Georgia, they qualified as the league tournament's second-ranked team.
All right, the next team is 16585, Columbus Space Program Astrobots.
From Columbus High School in Columbus, Georgia, they qualified via the Design Award and third-ranked team.
Team 16705, Platinum Titans.
From Lake Oconee Academy from Greensboro, Georgia, they qualified via the Think Award.
All right, the next region we're going to do is the North Georgia region. Our first team is 5898, Galactic Lions Andromeda.
From the Lakeview Academy from Gainesville, Georgia, in the league tournament, they were a top-ranked team.
All right, Team 9686, Raiders of the Ark Black.
From Alpharetta High School from Alpharetta, Georgia, they qualify via the Inspire Award.
Team 11562, Universal Robotics.
From Tallulah Falls School from Tallulah Falls, Georgia, they were the third-ranked team in the league tournament.
Team 12864, Raiders of the Ark Crimson.
From Alpharetta High School, Alpharetta, Georgia, they won the Control Award sponsored by ARM Inc., and they were the first-ranked team.
Team 14644, Avenger Robotics Vulcan.
From the Alliance Academy for Innovation right here in Cumming, Georgia, they won via the Connect Award.
Team 14892, Avenger Robotics Venom.
From our HQ right here at the Alliance Academy for Innovation at Incoming, Georgia, they won via the Think Award.
Team 15776, Mech Eagles.
From Chestatee High School in Gainesville, Georgia, they won via the Collins Aerospace Innovate Award.
Team 17421, East Jackson Eagles.
From East Jackson High School in Commerce, Georgia, they won via the Design Award, and they were the second-ranked team.
Team 18434, East Jackson Blue Eagles.
From East Jackson High School in Commerce, Georgia, they were a top-ranked team in the league tournament.
Team 18443, Galactic Lions Cygnus.
From the Lakeview Academy in Gainesville, Georgia, in the league tournament, they were a top-ranked team.
Rounding out our leagues, our last one is the Douglas Marietta League. So our first team is 4327 Silver Titans.
From the Robotic Explorers in Roswell, Georgia, they came here via the Control Award sponsored by ARM Inc.
Team 10219, batteries not included.
From the Mount Bethel Christian Academy, right in Marietta, Georgia, they came via the Design Award, and they were a third-ranked team.
Team 12762, Tech Titans.
From Siena in Alpharetta, Georgia, they came via the Connect Award, and they were the fourth-ranked team.
Team 12961, Team Checkmate.
From Kennesaw, Georgia, they came via the Think Award, and they were the second-ranked team.
Team 15173, Robotic Eagles.
From Milton High School in Milton, Georgia, they came via the Collins Aerospace Innovate Award, and they were the first-ranked team.
And our very last team, Team 17456, Atlantis.
From Johns Creek, Georgia, they came via the Inspire Award.
All right, that is all of our teams. Congratulations, and I'll throw it back to Crockett.
All right. Now, I understand there's going to be an interview.
There is going to be an interview, yes.
I heard it's with the famous Ken. Is it Ken and Barbie?
You know, it is a Ken. It is a Ken. You are correct. It is a Ken.
Okay. What about the famous Ken from Jeopardy?
He's not filming. He's not filming right now, so it is a possibility. But I feel like it's another Ken. I feel like it's another Ken. I feel like they're going to be very happy with who we have for them today.
All right. Now I would like to also introduce you to another very important group of people. We could not put this event on without our judges. And to introduce them is our head judge, Georgia Clark.
Thank you, Crockett. It's my pleasure to introduce this group of very talented judges. John Welch, mechatronics and computer science teacher at Forsyth County Schools, a league coordinator for 4 years, first volunteer for 16 years, and member of the Georgia FTC Planning Committee. Curtis Mathis, teacher at Forsyth County Schools, and has worked with FIRST robotics teams for the past 8 years. Erin Winnig, design researcher for Thrive. She is a FIRST alumni and has been involved in FIRST for 16 years. Will Zhang, engineer for Hitachi, joined FIRST 3 years ago and has judged at several events this season. Daniel Hercules, research and development scientist for Innovative Chemical Technologies, where he develops software and hardware for robotics. A FIRST volunteer for 3 years. Tammy Tesh Jurls teaches AP Physics and Physical Science at First Presbyterian Day School in Macon, Georgia. Has 12 years experience with FIRST. Michael Austin, draftsman for Panel Built. Has been involved with FIRST since middle school. Stephen Margis, safety engineer for UL. He joins us from Illinois with 10 years of FIRST experience over multiple states and countries. He is a member of the Illinois FTC Leadership Board and UL's FIRST Steering Committee. Daniel Frizzell, Director of Engineering for Blue Ridge Mountain EMC, has been involved with FIRST LEGO League for several years, and we welcome him as a new judge for FTC. These next 4 ladies are all members of the Georgia FTC Planning Committee. Teresa Bukovics, she has been a FIRST volunteer as judge and a judge advisor for 9 years. Linda Pham has been involved with FIRST for 11 years and was a senior mentor for 4 years. Terry Verheyen, HR manager for Microwave Vision Group Incorporated, has been with FIRST since 2013 and is our current FIRST senior mentor for Georgia. Lori O'Neill, product manager for Carrier Corporation, This is her 16th year volunteering for FIRST, and she is the Georgia head referee. We have 2 more members of the Georgia FTC Planning Committee. Jamie Cook, STEM Outreach Coordinator for 21st Century Partnership, retired engineer from Robins Air Force Base, and first volunteer for 8 years. Eric Richardson, Legal Systems Administrator for Thompson Hine. Eric has been involved with FIRST for 9 years, volunteering in multiple roles. Our next judges are Matthew Clark, software developer for EconoCheck, FTC alumni, has been involved with FIRST since 2007 with 6 years as a judge. Tim Harris, research and development senior engineer for Southern Company Gas, first volunteer for 4 years. Kelly Vaughn, this is Kelly's 2nd year volunteering as a judge and her 5th event this season. Janice Shogg, first volunteer for 5 years and is the Marietta League Coordinator. Thank you, judges. And now back to Kyle.
All right. I love seeing those awesome faces. I miss you, Jamie. I'm out on John right now. He's right in front of me. As you guys know from tackling the challenge this year, STEM skills have never been more important to solving the issues that are facing our world right now. This is my first time basically being in front of a camera in right about a year. So I'm excited that we are part of a movement that is helping to help these issues facing the world today. And First Tech Challenge right here is forming the leaders and innovators of tomorrow by getting kids involved in these disciplines early. But I want you guys to remember something very, very, very important. FIRST does not end with high school, right? I'm a FIRST alumni. I was in a FIRST team for 4 years. I've been a FIRST volunteer for probably close to a decade right now. And the reality is there's no exit plan. If college is your next step, then FIRST partners with over 200 colleges and universities who want FIRST participants like you and alumni like you to be part of their communities. And they have made nearly, catch this, $80 million available in scholarships. Regardless of the education level, FIRST works with industry to help explore career paths and opportunities and to make sure that you have access to the most valuable resource of all, each other. So right now, check out this quick video about our FTC alumni resources.
It's the most exciting feeling I've ever felt.
Being a FIRST alumni means that I have an entire world of connections.
It allows me to volunteer and give back to the community.
I think FIRST can really prepare you to solve any number of the world's big problems. The skills that you're going to be learning can completely change the future.
All right. While we're talking about life after high school, let's take a moment to recognize a group of leaders in the FIRST community and on your teams, the FIRST alumni and your high school seniors. Thank you for all that you continue to do to further the mission of FIRST and to inspire the next generation of students that are about to come right behind you. For some of you, ultimate goal may be your final season competing in FIRST. We want to take a moment to recognize those who will soon become First Alumni and become part of a storied franchise of people who are changing the world right now in their colleges, in industry, and in life in general. So, would all you students in your final year of high school wave, you guys are becoming First Alumni.
I want to take a moment to recognize and thank all the parents, coaches, mentors, and volunteers who help make these events possible. Thank you. We ask all of you today to honor the first values, gracious professionalism. This means doing your best work, and at the same time, we're going to respect and value the other students, teams, and volunteers here. And who better to help further explain this core value of FIRST than our very own Dean's List Award winners.
Fine, but it's essential to talk about and think about with your team and in your community.
The ideals of gracious professionalism tie education to success.
According to Woody Flowers, one of the main strengths of gracious professionalism is its dual modality.
Gracious is mostly about feelings, both yours and those of others.
Professionalism is mostly about knowledge and its application for good.
Combining the two is important.
So learn everything you can and experience helping others as often as you can.
Being an effective contributor is a huge part of feeling good about yourself.
Rational self-esteem is a big deal, and it is a likely outcome from practicing gracious professionalism while busting your chops in FIRST.
So go forward and represent the best of yourself in FIRST.
All right, this is going to be a great week of competitions. We absolutely cannot wait to see what teams do this week. And I know no one is more excited than the director of the First Tech Challenge, Ken Johnson.
Hey, how are you? Hope you can hear and see me okay.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this interview. Thank you so much for being with us today. So our first question for you is, how has First Tech Challenge responded as an organization to COVID-19?
I'm really proud of the way that First Tech Challenge responded to the pandemic. Back in March, when we realized that this was going to be something really, really big, we pivoted, and we pivoted pretty quickly. As you may or may not know, the game design process in First Tech Challenge is about an 18-month process, so there's some overlap there. And by March of last year, the ultimate goal game was almost done. We pivoted quickly and made it such that it could be played in the remote format that you're all familiar with at this point. And that included changing some of the rules, the way the game is played, developing a field system that you could build yourself much more easily than our typical year games. And it required a really large change to our scoring system, making it cloud-based so that all the teams could score themselves. And I want to point out two wonderful volunteers that made that happen. Thomas Barnett and Trey Woodleaf were wonderful volunteers in making this happen, and they're both First alum. So it's a really great way to see that whole thing being paid forward.
That's awesome. Okay, so here in the state of Georgia, we were able to have 1 in-person league and 7 remote leagues, with over 100 teams participating in about 45 events. How do you feel about the season our community has been able to put together despite the current circumstances?
I think Georgia is great. I really love the state and the energy that you have there. The last time I was there was September of 2018, where we kicked off Rover Ruckus up in Buckhead at Pace Academy. And that energy, and that was where the live kickoff came from, that energy translated really well. So I love Georgia and the work that you do. And in fact, Georgia and Arizona were 2 of the first regions to tackle ultimate goal in this new world that we're living in. And by doing that, you were able to prove out those changes that we made to the game, to the scoring system, and work with those. So internally, we call Arizona and Georgia the ultimate goal space monkeys, because you got up there first and you did it. So I think you guys have done an amazing job. And the number of events you've had and students and teams involved really is wonderful. And I'll say one other thing. This year in First Tech Challenge, there'll be over 1,000 events, most of them remote events, which is about 65% of the total events of First. So Georgia, as leaders, you really did kick it out of the park, knock it out of the park, whatever you want to use, and we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much, and I absolutely also loved all of the live events, but I'm so happy we were able to do it still this year. Okay, so speaking of that, what are some things that we might be able to look forward to next year?
Okay, I can't give you any special game hints or anything that I don't give the rest of the community at this point, but I think you're going to love the game next year. We will release it September 18th, so put that on your calendars, and it'll be a wonderful kickoff to the season. I will tell you that some of the features that were built into the remote event format will also be available in the upcoming season if the region, PDP's volunteers, decide they would like that. There's been interest in perhaps incorporating hybrid events in terms of starting the judging process through video and then having it finish up at the live event to make the live event day a little bit cleaner and smoother. And I'll also tease that there'll be some new technology that is introduced for the upcoming season, and look for that in about a month. And in mid-May, we'll do some announcements on that. But what I will tell you is that it will not obsolete anything that you already have. What you're using right now, you can continue to use it. This new technology that I'm alluding to will allow teams who are using what they've got now to be just as competitive as this new technology. The new technology just makes it a little bit easier. And the analogy I would use for that is think about when we added the control system in addition to the expansion hub as options for your on-robot controller. It's something like that. So there's a little tease on that.
Oh, well, I'm really excited for next season. I'm really excited to watch our teams grow with this new technology you're alluding to. All right, so our final question for you is, if you could give some words of encouragement to our teams, mentors, volunteers that participated this season, what would you tell them?
I would start with congratulations. Congratulations. If you're at this point, you've competed and you've succeeded. It doesn't matter how you finish in this particular event, but the fact that you got engaged, you were able to offer as much of the first and First Tech Challenge experience as was humanly possible under the conditions that we're in. And in doing that, I know it was a challenge, but I can't think of a better group that I would love to have tackle such a challenge as our first community and specifically First Tech Challenge teams. And I think it will prepare you all for wonderful approaches to what comes next, because life's full of challenges, whether it's professional, personal, whatever they might be, and you've proven that you can handle that. So lock that away and realize it and reference it when you face other challenges in the world, because I know you're going to do great with it. So congratulations.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming here to interview with you. That's all we have for today. But again, thank you so much.
Hope to see you all soon in person. Good luck and have a great event.
All right. Thank you so much, Ken. Each year, First Tech Challenge creates new and exciting games for teams to learn and compete in. In this year's season, First Game Changers is powered by Star Wars Force for Change. Teams around the world are exploring the evolution of our sports and activities that make us physically and mentally strong. This year, teams are working to redefine the game and revolutionize the way we play and move. In the 2021 game, Ultimate Goal, presented by Qualcomm, First Tech Challenge participants became teammates at the top of their game, competing in a thrilling sport to score, to win, and to leave a legacy that lasts. They will learn how to work together, to recover from failure, build confidence, and challenge each other to exceed team and personal potential. Let's take a look at this year's season challenge.
For centuries, sports have played an integral part of our culture. Moving, collaborating, competing, celebrating. We rally around our athletes, lift them up and admire their awe-inspiring moments and stories that give us hope. History has shown societies evolving through time, and so too have sports and the way we play and move together. And now the nature of traditional sports is shifting, and we have the power to be forces for change and redefine the game. Our sports are no longer rooted solely in physical prowess. We must use our minds, our creativity, imagination, and critical thinking as much as we use our muscles. No matter whether our talents lie on the court, in the lab, or with a controller in hand, there's an athlete inside each and every one of us. It's time for us to revolutionize the way we play and move. It's time to be game changers. In Ultimate Goal presented by Qualcomm, you and your team will experience the passion that drives us forward as athletes. With the clock counting down, we revel in the big plays and vital scores, and the lessons we learn when we fail and work with our teammates to recover. Each time our team steps up to a new challenge, we establish bolder goals, fueling our ambitions to work together, enhance our skills, and transcend all boundaries. No matter the outcome, we'll stand up in the face of competition, pushing each other to do better, work harder, and exceed our team and personal potentials. Because together, you are teammates at the top of your game, to score, to win, and to leave a legacy that lasts. It's time to play Ultimate Goal. Welcome to the First Tech Challenge 2020-2021 season game, Ultimate Goal, presented by Qualcomm. Part of the first Game Changer season, powered by Star Wars Force for Change. A team consists of up to 2 driver operators, a coach, a human player, and a robot. The robot must be built from materials specified in the game manual and fit within an 18-inch sizing tool, but may expand after the match begins. Each match is played with 4 randomly selected teams, 2 per alliance. Each alliance is allowed only 1 human player. Your opponents for one match may be your partners for another. The game is played on a 12-foot square playing field with a foam tile floor and 1-foot-high walls. 5 unique navigation images are located around the field perimeter. At one end are 2 tower goals, each containing 3 alliance-specific goals with return racks. Between the 2 tower goals are 3 red and 3 blue power shot targets. There are 2 red and 2 blue taped start lines, and 3 red and 3 blue target zone goals. Red and blue tape squares indicate starter stack locations, and a white launch line divides the field. Outside of the field walls are the 2 alliance stations and 2 human player stations. The primary game element is a ring, approximately 5 inches in diameter and 3/4 of an inch thick. A match is played with 20 rings. There are 2 red and 2 blue wobble goals. These can have rings scored onto them and can be moved for additional scoring. Before each match, teams place their robots on the field, touching the front wall and over one of their alliance's starting lines. Each robot must be touching or be in possession of a wobble goal. A robot may possess or touch up to 3 rings. After the robots are in position, field personnel will randomize the starter stacks into one of 3 configurations. This determines which target zone goal is active in the autonomous period. 0, 1, or 4 rings correspond to target zone goals A, B, or C, respectively. Unused rings are stored in the human player stations to be deployed to the field at the start of the driver-controlled period. The players and field are ready. Each match begins with a 30-second autonomous period. During this period, there are a number of ways for teams to score using only pre-programmed instructions and sensor inputs. Delivering a wobble goal to the correct target zone earns the alliance 15 points. A robot parked over the launch line earns 5 points. Each ring launched or placed into the low goal earns 3 points. A ring launched into the mid goal earns 6 points, and launching into the high goal earns 12 points. Robots earn 15 points for each power shot target knocked down. Robots must be completely within the launch zone to launch rings into the mid-goal, high goal, or power shot targets. Following the autonomous period is the 2-minute driver-controlled period. During the driver-controlled period, human players are expected to return rings to the playing field, as well as reset power shot targets. Each ring launched or placed into the low goal earns 2 points. A ring launched into the mid-goal earns 4 points. However, rings launched into the opposing alliance's goal earn points for their alliance. A ring launched into the high goal earns 6 points. The last 30 seconds of the driver-controlled period is the endgame. During this time, robots may continue scoring rings, but there are also ways to earn bonus points. Each knocked down power shot target earns 15 points. Returning a wobble goal to the start line earns 5 points. Each ring fully supported by the wobble goal earns 5 points. If a robot lifts a wobble goal over the front wall into the drop zone, its alliance earns 20 points. There are many ways to score in Ultimate Goal, but there are also rules that, if not followed, will deduct points from your alliance. For example, a robot may not block another for an extended period. A robot may not possess more than 3 rings at a time. A robot may not launch rings over the side or front perimeter walls. A robot may not intentionally tip another robot at any time. This has been a brief summary of the Ultimate Goal game. For complete rules, please read the entire game manual and check the Q&A forum. For more information on our remote season, including gameplay and field requirements, please make sure to visit our game and season webpage for the full library of remote event documentation. And always remember the most important rule of First Tech Challenge: gracious professionalism. Good luck, teams, and have a great season.
Wow, Kyle, I can't wait to see the unique and exciting ways teams tackle this challenge. For more details on this event and how the next week will look, I would like to introduce the program delivery and partner for Georgia First Tech Challenge, Steve Hovey.
All right, thank you, Crockett. And thank you, Kyle, also for joining us today. I want to go over some details here. And first of all, I want to thank all the teams that are here that have come on to the Ring Central. And you've created some backdrops. Some of you have created backdrops. This was a dry run, a trial run to see how well that worked for you. And if you haven't made your backdrop yet, go ahead and put that together over the next week. We are going to have a competition for pit decoration through the Ring Central next Saturday at 3 o'clock. But in the meantime, let's go through what we have left for this week. Of course, right after this, we're going to be having our drivers meeting with our state head referee, Lori O'Neill. And then we're going to have, once we disconnect from the YouTube broadcast, we're going to have the mandatory team referee score meeting. And this is a meeting for those who are doing the refereeing of the matches and the scoring of the matches. Those folks need to stay in the Ring Central meeting at that time so that we can have that, some important information for you. And also, at 3 o'clock today, that's when the match submission window opens. I know a lot of teams will procrastinate to the last minute. Don't wait too long. We know we can have technical difficulties, especially if you can. Don't wait until Saturday to do your matches, if at all possible. Moving on, during the week, we're going to be doing some social media frenzy. Put everything you can about the fun you are having this week, and show your team spirit on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook using hashtag GAFTC State 2021. Now, on Tuesday, April 13th, all judging submissions and videos are due. This includes your engineering portfolio, your control award submission form, and if you want it, your feedback request. Feedback requests are optional. moving on to Wednesday, April 14th, we've asked to see if you can send us some short video clips of your team doing a few different things. Do some fun stuff. Maybe a team introduction video stating your team number, team name, city, and organization, followed by a cheer, 15-second video there. Team robot in action, about 15 to 30 seconds. Smiling and waving, a team cheering. And send those clips to me at shovey@georgiafirst.org, gafirst.org. Just email those to me. They're pretty short. If you think that you want to, I can set up a link for delivering those as well. Just watch the team checklist for additional links. And then also, you should be able to check your judging schedule by now. The first round of judging that occurs on Friday should be up in the FTC scoring website. So, on Friday, we are going to have Tiara Friday. If you have your tiaras, your crowns, wear those into your judging sessions. We want to see you guys have that spirit. We want to keep that going. Normally we have this in person. This is the only way we get to see the tiaras and the crowns, everything that you have, and that is through judging. You're not required, but we do encourage it. And then attend your judging session. Now, it'll be sometime between 3 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. on Friday. Once again, as I said, check your scheduled time inside the FTC scoring system. Make sure you're there about 5 to 10 minutes early before your scheduled time, and links to the lobby are provided in the FTC scoring system under the state championship event. Bring your team and all the required stuff. Your team, robot, engineering notebook to support discussions, and control award submission form if you're applying for the control award. Okay? And partake in the interview. Interviews should be about 15 minutes long, which includes a 5-minute presentation period followed by a 5 to 10-minute Q&A session. And only the team members will be allowed to speak with the judges in the interview room. Once those interviews are done that evening on Friday, the pit judging session schedule will be set up, and make sure you check that Friday evening so you know what time on Saturday to do your second round of judging. All teams will have a time period to do some pit visits on the Ring Central on Saturday. And once you're in there, stay in there until one of us says, okay, that's it. You guys can go for the day and finish your matches that you haven't done yet. And we will see you at 3 o'clock p.m. for the team pit backdrop and mascot competition. Now, the team pit backdrop, some of you have started on that and you've shown it here today. For those who have a mascot, make sure that you put your mascot on the screen for the event. We did have a mascot competition at our state championship live last year. We want to see your mascot celebrate during this 3 to 4 o'clock session here, and we're going to give some awards for those. Finally, at 4 p.m. on Saturday, April 17th, we will have our closing and award ceremony. This is where it all comes. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where everything comes to a close. We give out the awards, and we will ship these awards to you once we know who wins what. So attend the closing and award ceremony at 4 o'clock, and that'll be the end of that. We do have swag pickups that are going to be happening. Some of you have said that you'll pick up your swag from the swag team this today, and others will be having swag delivered or available for pickup. Is that tomorrow we're having a swag pickup? And then others will have it shipped to them as well. So if you had submitted your request and how you want that taken care of, you should know how to do that. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, and I will help you out. And then we mentioned earlier social media. Everything you've got. Hashtag GAFTC State 2021. And that's all I've got.
All right. So I know I'm excited for matches to get started running. Match submission, as Steven said, starts at 3 p.m. today. But before we get there, we have to have a little bit of a driver's meeting. And hopefully you guys have already seen this face before, so I'm sure you'll be excited to send in your questions via Ring Central. Let me introduce to you our favorite head bumblebee and everyone's favorite head referee, Miss Lori O'Neill.
Hi everybody. Let me get up my trusty PowerPoint here for you and share my screen once I get it up. So many screens going on today. Here we go. All right. As Kyle said, I'm Lori O'Neill, the Georgia First Tech Challenge head referee, and I am excited to be talking to you at the start of the Georgia FTC State Championship. Congratulations to all the teams here today for qualifying for this event. And we all know what makes this possible. It is your gracious professionalism that has made this entire season possible, and GP is even more important during a high-stakes competition like this one. We know that you will follow the rules and play and score your matches honestly and fairly. To help you do this, I'm going to go through the most important items to remember and those rules that teams seem to have the most trouble with during this season. I'm going to start off with safety because that's the most important thing. It is just as important at your own site as it is at a traditional competition. These are the safety rules that apply both on the playing field and when you are working on your robot. Of course, wear your safety gear. Only charge batteries in well-ventilated areas. Watch your step around your pit area and make sure that your robot is powered off when you're carrying it onto and from the field. Throughout the entire week of this remote event, you may only use one robot for all of the matches in the tournament. You may work on your robot in between matches just as you could at a traditional event, but you cannot use a second robot in a match for this week. In remote competitions, there are absolutely no replays. This quote is from the remote game manual, and it's quite clear. Once started, matches are not paused or replayed. And the drive team should not set up the field or fix anything on the field. If you see something wrong, ask one of the field personnel to fix it for you. This is the 12x8 field that is to be used for remote matches. You can use a red side field or a blue side field. And your drive team must stand in the place where the Alliance station would normally be. During autonomous, do not touch the driver station phone or stop the robot, even if the robot's not doing what you wanted it to do and may incur penalties. The only time you can stop the robot during autonomous is for safety reasons or if your robot will be damaged. Rule GS6 says that that you may not control or possess more than 3 rings at a time and no more than 1 wobble goal at a time. These limits apply throughout the entire match, including autonomous. Rings stuck inside or under your robot do count toward this limit. Rings on a wobble goal do not count toward the limit. And when a ring comes back onto the field through the return rack, your robot may not control or possess it until after it has been supported by the floor. In other words, you cannot catch rings as they come out of the return rack. It has been made clear in the game forum that a ring bouncing off your robot is not considered control. However, intentionally positioning your robot so that the rings bounce off of it is considered control. For instance, if your robot is already holding 3 rings and you intentionally position your robot where rings coming out of the rack will be stopped from rolling away. And when I say intentionally positioning, I mean if you're positioning your robot to score, you're intentionally positioning it somewhere where you know that a ring is going to hit it when it comes out of that return rack. That is considered controlling, and you would be considered controlling extra rings because you already have 3 and you would get penalized. Now let's talk about launching. You must launch rings from completely in the launch zone to score in the mid and high level tower goals and to score power shots. To score a power shot, the ring you launch must directly hit the power shot. If any of these goals are scored in any other manner, you get the score, but you also get a major penalty. You get a minor penalty if your robot launches a ring outside the field across any wall besides the back tower goal wall. Launching of a wobble goal is not allowed, but you are allowed to drop the wobble goal. Gravity does not count as launching. Rule G10 says that there is no score if your robot is touching a game element that's in a scoring area. For example, in order for the score to count in autonomous, when you deliver the wobble goal to the correct target zone, your robot cannot be touching the wobble goal at the end of the autonomous period. Throughout the game, when you're scoring in the low tower goal, it only counts once your robot's no longer touching the ring. And at the end of the match, a robot touching a wobble goal invalidates the delivery of that wobble goal. And a robot touching the ring on a wobble goal descores that ring. Now I want to talk to the human player. The human player must wait until driver control period before doing anything except pick up rings that fall outside the back wall of the field. At a remote competition, human players may go outside the human player station to retrieve rings from anywhere behind the field, but rings that go outside the other sides of the field will be placed back on the field by field personnel, not by the human player. Don't forget to reset the power shots during the driver control period before endgame. You do have a 10-second grace period into endgame to get that done. Human players may hold as many rings as they like in their hands, but they may not use a device like a box to hold them. And remember to put rings back onto the field through the return rack as quickly as possible. The remote game forum has made clear that even at remote competitions, you are not allowed to wait until the robot is in a preferred position on the field before introducing rings back onto the field. You can only wait if returning the ring would cause your team to incur a GS6 penalty, as I described earlier. Endgame. Do not do endgame tasks early. You won't get credit for those tasks. To be eligible to get delivery points in endgame, a wobble goal must be outside the launch zone or in a target zone before endgame begins. So I'm going to show you the field here. The launch zone is this front part of the field, including the white line. So for a wobble goal to be outside the launch zone, it can't be touching the line. It has to be totally back here, or it could be in this target zone. Doesn't have to be completely in the target zone. It could be hanging out even the front of that target zone, and it would be eligible to be scored. Repositioning the wobble goals to get them into an eligible position is not considered doing the task early. You may move the wobble goal into position anytime in the match before endgame. The game element does not have to be touching the floor in order to be considered in the desired area, so the robot can be holding it. You are allowed to score both wobble goals as long as you move them one at a time. And although you're not required to have an actual wall around your remote field, you must have some kind of 12-inch tall barrier to get credit for delivering a wobble goal to the drop zone. At the end of the match, remember to press the stop button on the phone. Don't just put down your controllers. The robot must be parked, that means motionless, by the end of the buzzer. That is true for the end of autonomous as well as the end of the match. There's no grace period. If your robot's still moving, when the buzzer ends, you will get a minor penalty, and any scoring you're doing at that time will not count. And please, wait for the match to be fully scored before picking up your robot. And finally, make sure you've read the FTC game forum before starting your matches for this tournament. The game forum hasn't been very active this year, and that only makes it easier to read, right? So there's not that much to read, but what's there is important. You can download a PDF version, makes it very easy to read. Remember, the answers in the game forum can override what is said in the game manual. And finally, if you want any advice about your game strategy, you are welcome to send me your question, picture, or video. I'll take a look and let you know what I think. Nothing I think or say about your submission will affect the score of any of your matches. And I'm going to put my email address into the chat for you, so you can do that. And now, that's it. I am open for any questions you may have.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Lori. And hello, my name is Bryn. If any of you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat, and then we'll be able to ask Miss Lori any questions about anything that you have about field or robot actions or anything like that. So as we wait for questions to come into the chat, if we get any, if anyone has any questions, actually, I have a question for you, Miss Lori. How has being a judge been this season, being it's so weird?
Okay, well, you're asking about being a judge, or I think maybe you're asking about being a referee. Being rather than a judge, and so this year I've been both, so I can answer both questions. Being a referee has been kind of heartbreaking for me this year. I have not been able to attend any in-person matches due to being very careful about COVID this year, so that's been really hard for me. I hope that I've been able to help people through my drivers' meetings and through the questions that I've been getting in email. And being a judge has been fun, though, being a remote judge. So it did give me a chance to do that and meet all the teams in that way, and that's been fun.
All right, awesome. So we do have one question in the chat for you really quick. So for a remote field setup, they're asking, are nets required?
No, nets are not required. They are encouraged because they help to protect the human player back in the back of the field, but they're not required.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions that they want to? Oh, I do see another question. Okay. So how much of the wobble goal must be inside the delivering zones in autonomous for it to count?
In autonomous, the wobble goal must be completely in the target zone, the correct target zone. That means none of the wobble goal can be hanging outside the vertical plane of the outside edge of the tape of the wobble goal. And another thing I'll point out is for these outside edge of the target zone, the target zones that are up against the wall, you may have a little gap between the edge of the tape and the wall. That's okay. If the wobble goal is up against the wall, and this question was asked on the game forum specifically, as long as it's touching the wall that is within the target zone area, you're good. But it needs to be totally in.
Okay, and then we have another question. So how much of the wobble goal has to be over the start lines at the end of the game, so in game?
Okay. How much of the wobble goal has to be
over the start lines at the end of the game?
At the end, do you mean at the right before in game? Okay, let me read it. I've got the chat up now. Okay. How much of the wobble goal has to be over the start line at the end of the game? Okay, so if you're delivering to the start line, it just has to be a little bit over. If any part of the wobble goal is over this start line, I'm not sharing anymore, am I? Let me go back to sharing the field picture. If the wobble goal is over that line, even a little bit, it would count as a delivery to the start line.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or anything they would like to ask her while she is here? Otherwise, you are more than welcome to send her an email of anything that you might need in the future. All right, thank you so much, Miss Lori, and I'm going to throw it back over here to Kyle.
All right,
Good
teams, we are so excited to see what you're going to accomplish this week and celebrate with you a week from now at our closing ceremonies.
Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you follow us on social media and share with us what you're doing this week using hashtag GAFTCState.
Now, we will be ending this live stream, and we're going to be starting our mandatory referee and scorer meeting. So please stay with us if you're on Ring Central. But to everyone else, see you guys next week.